Hello YouTubers, how are you today? This is your driver Scott. So today I want to tell you a story, and I wanted to tell you a little bit again. I've spoken a bit about navigation systems before, and I've spoken also about back roads, and I want to tell you a story that kind of ties into the two of them. For the most part, I will follow navigation systems, unless the passenger asks me to do something else, or what the navigation system was telling me to do, I was like, I'm not doing that, okay? Which, it happens, okay? Anyway, there was a time where I picked this guy up, and this was last year. It was towards the end of spring break. I picked this guy up, and he was staying at an apartment complex that was, I'm assuming it was his friends, because he had friends, telling him goodbye as I loaded the luggage in the car. But he was staying with some friends. It was a condo that's right on the water. It's across the street from the Galleria Mall on Sunrise Boulevard. And those of you that know what I'm talking about, these condos are pretty relatively new, but they're nice, they're expensive. And it was 5:30, and he wanted to go from there to the airport, which meant heading west on Sunrise. As Sunrise connects into Federal, or as Federal connects into Sunrise, then you have all that traffic until Federal veers south, and Sunrise keeps going west, and you're on Federal, and Federal's got all that traffic all the way downtown from Lauderdale, all the way down to the 17th Street Causeway, and you're talking 5:30, which is the height of rush hour traffic. So, when I first started, I just kind of followed the navigation system. Whatever they told me to do, I did. Unless, of course, the passenger told me otherwise. And I still do that. Except, in this particular case, they were telling me to take Sunrise. So, I really kind of hate, sticking through traffic. And when it comes to back roads, for the most part, back roads don't, at least here in South Florida, or Broward I should say, back roads don't really get you to your destination faster. And even though there's traffic on the other one, what happens is you run into speed bumps, you run into stop signs, which kind of slow you down. There's also almost always somebody in front of you who is driving less than the speed limit. So they don't always get you there faster. The thing is, though, is that there's less lights and there's less traffic, and you're kind of moving. So psychologically, it feels better. It feels like things are going because the car's moving. So for the most part, I won't take back roads if the traffic's not bad. If it's 4 o'clock not 4 o'clock in the morning. If it's 5:30 in the morning, I'm going to the airport. I'm going from the Galleria Mall to the airport. I'm taking Sunrise. I'm taking Federal all the way down, and I'm there. And there's almost no traffic. I can't tell you how many people said, "Oh my God, what a nice ride!" that early in the morning. When you're talking about 5:30 in the evening, cars are jam packed in there, and it may or may not be quicker taking side roads in that particular situation. So if it's a situation where traffic is heavy, I'll consider it more than anything else. So anyway, I said to the guy, do you mind where we go? If I take some back roads. And he says, oh, no, go ahead. You know this place better than me. And he was speaking with an accent. I picked up as Russian. It may not have been actual Russian, but, it was European, Eastern European. Is what I picked up. So anyway, he tells me that, and I say, okay, no problem. So, for those of you who know, I went through Victoria Park. And Victoria Park is a beautiful neighborhood. I mean, there's trees on both sides, nice houses with bushes in front. There's a lot of foliage over there. And locals know it, and they take it. And you can see they're taking it. But not everybody knows cutting through Victoria Park. So I'm cutting through Victoria Park, and it's a very peaceful ride. There's speed bumps and there's stop signs. So it's not like you're speeding along, zooming. You're stopping, you're going slow. There are times when there are ducks crossing the road, and you got to stop for them. But it's a nice ride. So I and that Victoria Park Road turns into Broward Boulevard. Those of you who know South Florida, you're thinking about Broward Boulevard as this big, giant commercial place with lots of traffic, blah, blah, blah. At this point, this is like the end of Broward Boulevard. So it's not like that. It's all residential. It's quiet. And then eventually it turns into busier residential. But it's still quiet before Federal, a little bit before Federal Highway, before you get to Federal Highway. So anyway, we're driving along, and I look at the navigation app, and it's saying that if I turn south on Federal, you got the red line, which means it's a lot of traffic. So I said to the guy, it's telling me to turn, and I'm not going to turn. And he goes, oh, okay, no problem. So I went past Federal Highway, and I went through downtown Fort Lauderdale. Now, at that time, there was a lot of traffic. It was, it was busy. I don't know if if it went any faster. I couldn't tell you. But I went to Andrews Avenue, and I took Andrews Avenue down. And Andrews Avenue is nice and smooth until you hit like the big streets, Davie Boulevard, 84th Street, and then you're stuck at a light for a little while. So I honestly don't think you get there any faster taking Andrews Avenue. But I think that because you're moving and you're only stopping certain times at lights, that people have the impression you're moving faster. So anyway, we cut through downtown Fort Lauderdale, and when we're kind of stuck with all that traffic, I hear the window go down, and then I looked over, and I see him. He's doing this. He's looking up at the buildings, and for those of you in New York that have never been to downtown Fort Lauderdale, listen, it doesn't compare. I mean, you're talking like 3 blocks of buildings. It's like nothing compared to New York. New York is miles of buildings. But, downtown Fort Lauderdale, even downtown Miami is way bigger than downtown Fort Lauderdale. You got a courthouse and you got a couple of blocks and that's it. But anyway, we cut through there and we go south of Andrews, and then we get to the airport. And when we get to the airport, I get out, I go and get his car, and, his luggage from the trunk, and he comes out. And as I'm handing him the luggage, or the handle and everything, he sticks his hand out. And I stick my hand out, and he goes, "Thank you very much. That was wonderful." And I said, "You're welcome. I hope you have a great flight. Have a good day." And he drove. He went off. I get in my car and I drove off. I had to divide him off. And I didn't really mean to do that. I was just trying to avoid some traffic. But he loved driving through Victoria Park. And then driving through downtown Fort Lauderdale, he loved doing that too. I imagine his whole stay was, he was in a condo in Intercoastal, so he went from there to the beach, and then to whatever restaurants there were. And he never really got to see that portion of Fort Lauderdale that we drove through. And I think it made a more memorable experience for him. I think he really liked it. So while I didn't mean to do it, I'm kind of happy I did. And that's kind of, it kind of opened my eyes more to back roads and the psychology behind it and how passengers could have a good time. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share. Go ahead and comment down below. I love to hear stories, so if you want to tell me any of your own about, navigation systems, driving through downtown Fort Lauderdale, driving through Victoria Park, anything like that, back roads that you take, please share it with me. That would be great. And also, in the description box below, there are some links. You can, you can drive for Lyft, you can drive for Uber, you can have pleasurable experiences like the one I just told you about. Of course, I had to learn the road first. When I first got in, I was like, oh, I couldn't find the, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know which one was which, and it took me a while. But once you get the hang of it, you just keep doing it. You get the hang of it. It's not really that difficult. So anyway, you could do that. Make some extra part-time money. Make a career change. Pay off that bill. Save up for vacation, and that should be all. Thank you very much, and you have a great day. This is your driver, Scott.